I'll sign right there. Mine's right there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's when the big bucks start rolling in. That's one of my favorite.
I didn't get it. Reading's out. I will.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Yeah. Right.
Who was that you talking to over there? That's good to have my shirt with him.
Man.
Let's be on that fad diet.
I'm doing good. How you?
I'm doing very well.
Good to see you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Paint your heart out. How you doing today?
Okay. Retiring again? You know, that's the one everybody cried.
Yes.
And James is worried that nobody gonna cry when he leaves. Or, you know,
Y'all ain't even gonna know I'm gone.
I'm pretty sure I won't be crying. Be tears of joy.
Y'all ain't even gonna know I'm gone.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna know this.
Y'all not even gonna miss me.
I tell you what, come back.
Coming back to see me, eh?
Look, get the uptick time in the charm. Oh,
Not
that's
no
why.
GLE. Not
I tried to help.
to a site that you don't want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that up here.
Especially with live stream.
Right. Please, Lord. Hey. How are you?
So.
Good enough.
Oh, you are quick.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Shreveport City Council meeting has now been called to order. I'm going to ask Councilman Green to give the invocation. I'm going to ask Councilman Butcher to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Lord, for this day, and thank you for another opportunity to do good and to do service for people and to make our city a better place. We ask you to come in our midst and touch our hearts, souls, and minds that be acceptable in our sight, filling us with the Holy and Divine Spirit. But we ask that you would just give us that wisdom and knowledge to do what is right to do, and we thank you for each and every one of us. And ask that you'd bless us in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord, for what you've done. We're going to praise you in advance for what you're going to do. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Taylor.
Present.
Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Talaferro.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Butcher.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilwoman Bowman.
Present.
Tomorrow, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Administrative Conference Monday, October 27, 2025, and the City Council meeting Tuesday, October 28. Does any council member have any awards, recognitions, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I see former Councilman Willie Bradford sitting out there on the front row.
Hey, Mr. B.
Come on. Hey. Thank you.
You want to come on, sit up here, be the honorary chairman for today?
My baby's waiting on me.
Okay. No one? Mayor Arsenault, do you have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I do. We have a number of members of our solid waste staff, and they're here because they weren't here the other day when we recognized a whole lot of folks for working block by block, and they're probably the hardest working folks that we have. So I'd like to ask them to come up.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Madam Chair, these are the folks that collected 810 tons of trash. That's, to make that more stark, that is almost 1,800,000 pounds of trash through that, and I want to appreciate them, and also over 3,000 tires. So these are the folks that have among the dirtiest jobs in the city, and they do it with a smile, and we wanted to say thank you to them for not just block by block, but what they do on a daily basis.
All right, congratulations. So would you all turn around to the council, please?
Not so fast.
Hold on, because we want to stand up and give you applause for what you do.
Yeah, that's right.
Does any council member have any words? Councilman Talaparo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Imagine what you could do if you didn't care who got the credit. You guys make us look so good.
Amen.
When we get the calls, we just make another phone call, and the supervisors, you guys are put into place to take care of what we can't take care of. And that is goes beyond measure, and without words could never express, the gratitude that I have for my district, and I'm sure all these city council members here, for everything that you do. It's a thankless job, but you do it with pride and you do it well. And it is such an honor to have you on our team, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Green?
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you all for all that you do, and God bless you all, and also like to thank you all for making District F to have the largest block by block. Thank you all so much. Y'all made me look real good.
So
Just
here
dropped down.
we go. It's not
Thank
F,
y'all so much.
It's A. Welcome to the A, okay? And I echo the
Thank you, guys.
sentiments of my colleagues, because you all do an amazing job, and I appreciate you all so much.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
So, Mr. Mike, you want to say something now?
Oh, no, I'm good.
You good?
I just wanted my people to be recognized. We never had this before. Nobody never,
You
we
got
hear
it
thanks
now.
all the time, but to come down here, we never get that.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
thank y'all.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. We appreciate
It won't be
it.
your last trip.
Okay?
I'm telling you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, do you have anyone else?
It's a question whether it's now or under C, but the police department has their monthly report.
Okay. Chief Smith?
Chief, you're up. You're up. Yes, sir.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think all of you may have your copy of today's presentation, so we shall begin. The first slide you'll see, and this is what I normally report on. These are our criminal homicides year to date. Last year at this time, we were at 46. This year, we are at 34. So there is a noticeable decline in our homicide rate. And this figure does include the two from the fire the prior weekend. And as you can see also by that slide, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, we've been in a constant noticeable decline in our homicide rate. Next slide you'll see, year to date, is the shots fired. These is where someone called and report that they have heard shots fired somewhere in our city. And some of these may in fact be duplication when multiple people have heard the same thing but make the call. But nonetheless, to us, it is a call that we record. Year to date, we have 1,726 that's been reported to us at this time. Last year, for the same time period, we was at 2,147. There again, a noticeable decline, and as you can see, since 2021, there has been a substantially noticeable decline in the amount of shots fired calls that's been reported to SPD. The next slide you'll see are actual shootings. This would include the reporting of the shots fired called and when a projectile has actually injured someone. This year, we are at 188. Last year, for the same time period, we was at 235. There again, we are at a noticeable decline in the amount of shootings that are occurring across our city. As you can see by the graph, since 2021, there has been a noticeable, dramatic decrease in the amount of shootings across our city. Next slide, you'll see year to date are criminal reports, and this is a little bit broader category. Sex crimes, as I reported last time, and again this time, appears to be elevated from the same time period of 2024 with 438 sex crimes reported to us this time and 403 last year. But there again, some of this I believe is due to simplified methods of reporting, and we have in fact increased our investigative efforts in this area. Vehicle thefts appears to be on a decline. 1,025 year to date. Last year for the same time period, 1,071, a slight decrease in that area. Armed robberies, we're at 50 for 2025. 2024, we're at 62 recorded. There again, a slight decrease. Burglaries, and this encompasses residential and commercial. This year, 1,087 have been recorded. Last year for the same time period, 1,395, a noticeable 300 plus decline in the amount of burglaries that's being reported to us. Vehicle burglaries, 818 so far this year, 998 last year, so 80 difference, decline in the amount of vehicle burglaries. Carjackings, 12 reported to us this year, 16 had been reported to us the previous year. There again, a slight decline. Next one you'll see is one that I wanted to bring to your attention that normally we hadn't talked much about: vandalisms. And these are all separate categories of crimes. Vandalisms, 1,543 reported to us this year. Last year, 1,582. Assaults and batteries, 2,341 reported to us this year, 2,489 recorded from the prior year. The one category, and I think it's befitting to talk about that because this is Domestic Violence Month, and we should recognize that about 20% to 25% of our homicides we have noted that was due to domestic violence of some sort, a significant amount. This year, we had 2,356 cases of domestic violence that's been reported to us. Last year, 2,168. So a significant increase of nearly 200 separate incidents where domestic violence was involved. Stabbings, 64 this year, 60 last year. Vehicle crashes, and I think I periodically say that for the average person, the chances are greater that you could be injured or killed as a result of an automobile crash than there is any other way. Our fatality crashes are significant this year with an unbelievable amount involving pedestrians. I've never seen that high pedestrian count per year. But 8,133 vehicle crashes have been reported in the city limits of Shreveport this year in comparison to 7,863 for the prior year. So invariably what that means is automobile crashes as a whole are increasing in our city. This slide I wanted to talk just a little bit about, and I'm quite sure you were probably going to ask anyway, but I'll help you out here. Our west substation at 5200 Monkhouse Drive is active and fully operational, 100% operational. The north temporary site at 3300 North Market, Area 1, entire staff works out of there, and soon we'll be moving to the 1500 block of North Market, the new police substation that's being built there, which is under construction as we speak, and it appears to be moving along at an accelerated rate. The east temporary location in the 1200 block of Shreveport Blockdale Highway, as of last week, it is 100% operational. The Area 2 personnel have relocated to that location, and they'll be there temporary pending the Cedar Grove Park substation being complete. The east substation at St. Vincent and West 70th, which will be at Cedar Grove Park, we had a groundbreaking for it last week, and construction has begun. We're looking so forward to that moving along at an accelerated rate also. The south temporary substation at 1900 block of Kingston Road, for the most part, is virtually complete. It was my understanding as of latter part of last week that they would begin to relocate to that substation today, but I learned this morning due to some technical difficulties with the equipment, the camera equipment, that will be delayed a week, but that is all that's left to get done. Our police substations are safe exchange zone. Once we get there, we have to post signs up that says they are safe exchange zones, and the court actually assign or suggest that people come there to do domestic transfers and so forth. So we've really got to make sure that everything is right and functional when we get there. The temporary police administration location at 1120 South Point Parkway, the majority of the administrative personnel has already relocated there. ABO and quite a few others, vehicle for hire, is already functional and operational. A few of us are still left at 1234 Texas Avenue, but as soon as pretty much everyone else vacates that building, then we'll be vacating it also. But I would say probably 98% of our personnel has abandoned that location. I know there's been some concern about the large gatherings and the events that took place this past week down in the Red River District. We are preparing with the resources that we have a response to try to prevent that or alleviate it from happening. And thank you, Councilman Talaferro and others for throughout the weekend texting me, sending me the information that I needed to get investigators to investigate the incidents, and hopefully the ones who are responsible will bring them to justice. Thank you so much, Councilman Talaferro, for communicating with us, and all of you, council chair, over the course of the weekend with the videos and things that come to light. And I am ready for any question.
Thank you, Chief. So for the past 4 years, you have been saying that crime is down. Yet when we make posts about it, people just don't believe it. You know, they just feel like they don't feel like Shreveport is any safer than what it was 4 years ago. I'm not sure what we can do about that. You may not be prepared today, but at the next time we present, can you show the arrest and conviction? Well, you don't handle conviction, but at least arrest rate. I kind of want to close the loop because the real police work starts after the crime is committed. There's only so much you can do to prevent a crime from happening in the first place. But I do want the people to know that if you commit a crime in Shreveport, the likelihood of you going to jail is extremely high.
Okay, I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Your slide, you talked about vandalism. So what's the definition of vandalism? Because sometimes on the major notes that we receive, it shows shots fired, so is there anything else that's included in there besides shots fired?
Yes, vandalism, that's when a piece of property has been destroyed or damaged at the hand of someone who didn't own it.
Okay.
For instance, if you come home and something has been torn up in your yard, or someone has scratched your car or cut your tires, some damage has been caused to property, not the individual property. Well, that would be a vandalism.
Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Councilman Wiltshire.
Hey, Chief, thank you. Thank you for the report. It's always great to see these numbers going down. Back to the vandalism deal, could that be a house that shot up with nobody shot?
I guess it could be, depending on the circumstance.
Because I've
Could very
seen
well
some major
Yes.
notifications that have
Yes.
come across that say vandalism.
Vandalism.
And then underneath it, it'll say,
Shots fired.
shots fired, but then
That could-
they change it to vandalism.
be.
So,
That could very well be, if property was damaged, yes.
yes, but
injured.
nobody was injured, so.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Second thing, I'm looking at, and it's Domestic Violence Month, and it's always a concern to me, and I think Councilwoman Taylor and Councilman Talaferro have been very involved in this. When we look at our funding for our non-government organizations, I'm kind of curious as to the amount of times that we use Gingerbread and Project Celebration. I'd like to know maybe at budget season, the amount of times as opposed to the last maybe 3 to 4 years that we've used Gingerbread House and that we have had to call Project Celebration in for these sexual assaults and domestic violence. And where I'm going with that is, I think the only way for us to combat a lot of this violence is to stop the cycle. I've said it over and over again. And I want to make sure that they're funded properly, because I know that there's been a lot of state cuts, a lot of federal cuts. And if we're going to give money to nonprofits or NGOs, I think that this is one that doesn't give me a whole bunch. I mean, there's several good ones, but this one is something that I think for our citizens and for the future of Shreveport, we need to make sure we're funding it properly. So if I'd just like to see, I would assume with more domestic violence that children could be involved and that Gingerbread's seeing more clients. I would assume that if you've got more domestic violence, Project Celebration is being called out more often. So we need to make sure that these two organizations, especially these two, when it comes to domestic violence and crime, are funded properly. And I know for a long time, I don't feel like that we were funding them properly or giving them what they needed. So that would give us a tool as a council. And I'm not trying to say we're going to give them more money, but I would like to look at it and see.
Okay, I'll be happy to see if our system will query, because we use quite a few NGOs throughout the year to help us complete that mission, all of the ones that you just mentioned. I'll see if the system will query the amount of times we actually call them out, and
Well,
I'll be happy to let you know.
maybe Project Celebration and Gingerbread have a role of how many times.
We can query that. Okay, we'll be able to get you some.
If you don't
information.
mind, at the budget meeting under crime, let's talk about that if that's okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate
sir.
y'all.
I agree with that, but also, not to cancel that out, I want to use the word and.
All right.
And
In addition to.
Yes, correct. I want to thank you all in your dedicated team to domestic violence, because I believe the more arrests that we see and convictions as it relates to that also sends a very strong message. So the collaborative partnership that you all have with those two agencies, along with the DA's office and other community institutions that actually profess their time to domestic violence, makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely, and thank you for all of you for attending the domestic violence forum that we had. It was not long after that when we definitely could see a decrease in the rate by which it was going up. So I think bringing public awareness, bringing the service providers to the table to talk about it really, really makes a difference. And in our new substation north, having the Family Justice Center there, and that's a campaign we really need to push hard, that, government, the law has not forgotten about the victims. We're working to provide assistance for victims of crime, getting the Supreme Court to reduce the amount of paperwork that it takes to get it restraining order. All that is really making a difference. Matter of fact, our partners have said we need to have a forum like we had maybe a couple of times a year.
I agree.
Instead of one time a year, where everybody can come to the table and talk about what it is that you provide.
I think that we should do it quarterly. That update quarterly. But I also like to commend the community, because if you all did not know, then we arrested a individual who just tragically beat a female with brass knuckles in her face. And that individual was arrested on the tips to Crime Stoppers.
That's right.
And he was apprehended in Los Angeles.
That's right.
For what he did here.
That's right.
And so that's how important your voice really, really is, and how big a difference that it makes.
That's right.
Yes.
And our partnerships across the country, our relationship, both locally and federal, it gives the arm of the law a much longer reach other than Shreveport, Louisiana.
Correct.
Because we can get it in the system, make the calls, and we got partners worldwide that will reach out to assist us. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I think one other thing to mention is the I-20 corridor. I know y'all had a meeting on it
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
That to me could be a really big game changer.
Yes.
Because from what I understand, people from Fort Worth were there.
Absolutely.
Smith County, Harrison County, all the way over. That's going to be for y'all all to be able to go up and because a lot of crime. A lot of people go to Dallas. A lot of people from Dallas come here in Houston. For the chief to know the sheriffs and police chiefs in those areas and could pick up the phone, I think that's a really big deal that can help us.
Waves already in motion.
Well, thank you, Chief.
Yes.
Chief, could you tell, for the record for James Green, what district the Family Justice Center is going to be in?
It'll be in Area 1, District 1, 1500 block of North Market.
To the 8th. Yes.
And might I say, it'll be equipped, according to Mrs. Nero Washington, with one of those very new, nice bus stops that's lit up and all that kind of stuff.
Can you tell me who the councilperson is for that district?
Council Chair Taylor, but
That would be it.
Madam Chair, Chief, I have a quick question.
yes, sir.
Once Area 4 is moved to Kingston Road,
Yes,
will your office will be the only people left at headquarters?
that is correct.
How soon after that will y'all move out?
We're going to be moving at the same time. I notified them this morning to begin to move office by office, so within a couple of weeks probably.
Okay, one other question.
Yes.
The new ABO office on South Point,
Yes, sir.
why is the door locked?
Door lock.
The door is locked.
The only time I could think it'd be locked if someone go to the restroom or something like that, but it's fully functional and should be
I know I've
operational.
been, but my understanding is that it's always locked.
Nah,
Would
I
you
don't- I
mind
don't
checking
see-
on that for me?
I'll check on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam
Now,
Chair.
they could, now, it sure doesn't have a ring camera on the outside where you press the button and some speak and somebody lets you in, but I'll check it
Yeah,
out.
they speak and they ask you, how can they help you?
Well, so it's locked, but you ring
They
the
don't
bell.
buzz
and
you
it's-
in, they come and unlock it.
Okay.
I was just curious as to why it was locked. That seems like a
Well,
safe
I
part of
know
town.
I know the civilian people over there that we moved, safety conscious. I've gotten several complaints from them wanting a fence around the property because people have been wandering in who should not be there, or they go out in the parking lot and people are sitting on their cars. And it's just a host of complaints that I've gotten from the civilian ladies that work there, that they're not feeling as secure there as they were at 1234 Texas Avenue. So if the door is locked, but there is a button that somebody can ring like there is anyone else, but someone lets you in, I really don't see a problem with that. As long as you can get the service that you required, if it make them feel safer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair? A couple quick questions. Regarding traffic violations, Chief, do we have a count of the number one or number two violation for traffic offenses?
Speeding,
Speeding?
yes. If you're just talking about overall.
Correct.
Because of the amount of citations that we write, the majority of traffic citations are from speeding.
And what would be the second? Would that be violation of red light, possibly?
I don't know. I don't know.
And then, so what is Spring and Lake still the number one intersection for collisions, or has that been replaced by?
I would think over the course of time and that has probably been replaced. The more I hear more now accidents over the radio would be at like Uri Drive and Bert Coons. Bert Coons and Mansfield Road, Uri Drive and 70th Streets. I hear more on the radio about them than I do Spring and Lake.
And the reason I ask that is because that's what we hear as well. And a majority, I believe, and you can research this, but a majority, I believe, is violation of red light, squeezing through those red lights. So I would like to see more red light enforcement there. Nobody wants a red light ticket machine.
Right.
But, so I'm asking for some selective enforcement, at those major intersections, whatever you can afford, whoever can do it, because that seems to be a major issue there with the violation of the red light, people trying to squeeze through 3 and 4 cars after the cycle. So I'd appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much. And I encourage everyone across our city and wherever you are, if you're at an intersection and you get the green light to go, please don't immediately go.
That's right.
Count about 4 seconds.
Right.
I
And
agree.
look to your left, look to your right, look straight ahead
Honk your horn.
to allow time. The average red light cycle here in Shreveport, the average yellow light cycle here in Shreveport is 3.2 seconds, else 4.2 seconds, which gives you plenty of time to stop if you stop when the yellow light comes on. But as, luck has it, some people, it takes a second to think about it and a second to recognize it, another second to decide what you want to do. Light turns red on you and you already committed. And we see some very, very severe accidents that happen at intersection from someone actually running the red light, someone else get a green light, looking straight ahead and pull out, and as a broadside, we see some severe things occur. But thank you for that, and we will.
Councilman Green.
Chief, how do you handle it when you do just what you just said, wait 4 seconds before you leave and you get a horn and a finger?
You continue to look ahead and just pray that you didn't hear that it was all an illusion, and go on about your business. Please don't respond to it in any fashion. Good, positive,
Pastor, you ought to
indifferent.
know, man. This is your response. One way,
So you want us to take the high road?
Hate the high road. That's exactly right. We don't want to create nothing for it.
I was actually asking, the reason I was asking was so Gary would know how to handle it.
All right. Very good. Anyone else?
I swear.
Thank you, Chief.
All right. Thank you all very kindly.
Chief.
Mayor Sino,
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
any other communications of the mayor?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Councilman Green.
Madam Chair, Mr. Blackwell, would you come up, please? I didn't see you when we were started. Thank you for so much and all that you all are doing at the airport. Of course, would you explain to the general public what's going on out there? They see all those dozers, and you explain to me, and just let the public know what's going on.
Sure. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have a drainage project going on the north side of our airport over by Hollywood Avenue, and I don't know if people have driven by there about a month ago. You could see all the trees and growth in there. All that's been cleaned out, as you can imagine, with all the pavement we have out there, runways and everything. That we have a lot of runoff when we have large rain events, and that project is meant to get the water quickly off so that we don't have ponding and all that out in the airport.
Thank you so much, and keep up. It's a very elaborate project, so people was wondering, thinking you was getting ready to build another building, but thank you so very much.
They've
Y'all
done a
keep up
thorough
the good
job
work.
on it.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does any member have questions or concerns relative to property standards for Mr. Green? Guess y'all ran him off. Do you have any questions? Anybody? There he is. Councilman Talaferro said we want everybody to see your pink shirt for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Oh, I support, yes.
Very good.
Just say yes.
No one? Okay. Sashay on, sir. Thank you, sir. Everyone should have received the Revenue Collection Plan and Implementation Report. Tomorrow, we'll have a public hearing on Ordinance 97A of 2025. Mr. Dark, will there be any legislation to be added today?
Not to my knowledge, Madam Chair.
Okay. Today, we will hear public comments on non-agenda and agenda items. And Madam Vice Chair will take it from here. And please say your name and your address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Philip Price, please.
Philip Price,
Madam Chair, the mayor, and the rest of the council, and everyone in attendance. I run the day-to-day operations at the
Mr. Price, we
G-Spot.
need your address for the record, please.
My address?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm in Tabitha's district. It's 5721 Lakefront Drive.
Thank you.
Okay. I run the day-to-day operations down at the G-Spot DAC to Go. And we've been open 1 year and 2 months now. This weekend was the first time there was an altercation. It wasn't at the G-Spot, it was underneath the bridge. Since I've been running it, I've been asking for police presence underneath the bridge. I have contacted Chief Wayne, I've contacted Tabitha Taylor, I contact Gary Brooks, and I also have talked to Mr. Jackson. I don't know a city that the main street does not have police presence. We should not have to pay for police presence to have our businesses secured. We are not in control of how much public comes down underneath the bridge. Almost every high school had their reunion this year underneath the bridge. They like that area. Byrd had their centennial. When Byrd had their centennial, they washed the district. They had police presence. They removed the problem of the homeless people for the day. The police officers came down and took the homeless people's garbage and moved it. Every other function, there's no police presence. No matter what function goes on down there. I've asked and I've asked and I've asked. This altercation that happened this weekend, the young man that punched the lady in the face was protecting himself. She attacked him twice before he responded. She assaulted him in the public bathroom area first, and then when they got outside, she attacked him again. That's when he punched her in the face. I was there. I do not condone men putting their hands on women under any circumstances. But that's the truth, and that's what happened. We are not going to have a false narrative and throw 50 Cent's name into it to make their point more valid. We are in communications with Chief Wayne right now about donating another camera for down underneath the bridge. But there should be some police presence underneath the bridge. It should be. Whether they just walk through or whatever. It sends a message of it being safe. And we need to do that. We absolutely need to do that. It should not be. That is the main street in Shreveport, Louisiana. That's an extension of Texas.
Mr. Price, your time has expired, but we'll see if any council members have any questions for you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Madam Chair, real quick, I agree with you. I think that common area out there is the city's responsibility. Let me ask you a question, though, and this is just something that's been posed. If you go to Bill Street in Memphis on a Friday or Saturday night, they have both ends blocked off and they have to go through a metal detector. Is that something that y'all would be opposed to or for?
I'm not opposed to that, but someone has to man it.
Well, I'm just asking. I'm asking if
that's a police presence.
If the manning is taken care of, is that something that y'all's business and other businesses down there would be receptive to?
Ours would be. I can't speak for the others,
Well,
but
yeah,
ours would definitely be, for that, because then it's a presence.
Correct.
Because someone has to man it.
And then do you feel like, let me ask you, this is a follow-up question. Do you feel like on Bill Street, it's $5 to get in to Bill Street on Friday and Saturday nights? And I'm not talking about all the time. Is that something, I think that $5, I don't know how many people were down there. I saw the pictures. Looked like a lot of people. If those people were paying $5 a piece, they should be able to pay for the security at least to screen the people getting in. Because this is what I don't want to see. I want them to come to your business, and I want them to patronize your business. That's what I want. I don't want people hanging out down there drinking that aren't buying liquor from you or any other vendor down there. That's a recipe for disaster. And I think if we were to put
a checkpoint going into the river, to the Red River District on particular nights and charge a cover charge, a minimal cover charge, just to cover our cost. And I think that probably is a city responsibility. I'm going to look into what Memphis is doing and who pays that, if there's a fee or something that everybody gets together and does. But I do think that might help the issue. I don't know. But I just wanted to make sure that would be something before I spend too much time looking into it and trying to get with the chief and the mayor and everybody else. If I'm just going to be shot down whenever I say, hey, look, we need to do this, I'm not going to waste my time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I just want you to know that I agree with you. I think that the problem stems more from what's going on outside of your business, not what's going on inside your business. And I also want you to know that we realize, or at least I do, and I think the majority of the council members that I've talked to realize that is our responsibility to make sure that people aren't loitering down there and that there's not alcohol brought in from other areas. My fear is we've got people that are bringing in alcohol from other areas and drinking it, and that's taken away from your bottom line. That's not what we want. If you want to have open container down there, it needs to be purchased at one of the vendors down there. And I think that's something that we had discussed when we did the open containers, having a Councilman Jackson, in that right? Some type of wristband or something like that. Yeah, identifiable cup. So, but I agree. I think that we need to hit it as hard as possible. In the meantime, until we come up with something, and that's up to the chief, of course. But I agree with you. It's our responsibility to make sure. But I wanted to just kind of ask you that question before I went any further.
Yes, I appreciate that. And yes, we're open to all ways of making it safe down there so we can have the business that we're looking to have down there. And I appreciate you.
I think my comment to another council member today was, we're trying to grow the city, and the city is stagnant, and it seems like every time we take a step forward, some bad actors make us put our finger on top of it and say, oh, no, we can't grow. So we need to think outside the box.
Absolutely.
Councilman
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Can't leave yet.
Thank you, Mr. Price, and I will echo those sentiments. You have been sounding the silent alarm for a while to try to get our attention, so I do want to put that on the record. It's sad that our crime outshadows the good events that we had. Huntington had an amazing event. There was no incident, but one fight will overshadow that good incident. And we have to change that. We have to do better as a people. I would like to say I don't think we're at the point where we're ready to charge to come under the bridge because we don't want to run the crowd away. However, you've been experiencing an uptick due to homecomings. I think we don't have enough data to see how much activity we're going to get under the bridge once homecoming season is gone. So I definitely want to look into that. Mr. Mayor, I didn't know if there's ways where people can monitor the real crime cameras under the bridge. And as they see people start, gathering under the bridge, Chief, if we're flexible enough to send additional officers as the crowd increase. I don't want the city to pay for officers, more officers than what's needed under the bridge if no one's there. And we don't know what that looks like because I patronize your business a lot. Sometimes there's no people at all, and sometimes there's a reunion and you have a whole bunch of people that nobody expected. So we do have to have a better way of monitoring that to make sure everybody is safe. I do agree with you. I feel like under the bridge should be our responsibility to keep it safe, just like all over Shreveport. It's your job to keep your business safe, but under the bridge is Shreveport, and we should do a better job of keeping that incident safe. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. Councilwoman.
Yes. Mr. Price, thank you for coming down just with your regards so we know exactly what's going on because we did get different phone calls, different videos. I did see the latest video. When we made this district an open container district, we was trying to make it a safe environment and take the loud music away from the residential area so they could have a great quality of life. So it's been 1 year. This is probably the first big ordeal. So we support the legislation we put in for the Red River District. I just think it's some more work that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
And I want to say thank you for coming down.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So again, Mr. Price, I will say this as well. I agree with Madam Chair and my colleagues because we have sounded the alarm. But I thought and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Mayor, and Chief, when we had cameras, trailer cams, that they were designated for the weekend. I think that is something that we all talked about in the downtown area, because there was a level of shortage there, and that we knew with those trailer cams would be able to pick up. There was also, I thought, and council members can correct me if I'm wrong, that there was a designated team for downtown as well that was consistent of 3 entities in law enforcement. And so that needs to be checked on as well, because in the common area, that is our responsibility at that point. When they go to your establishment, then you're responsible for the security in your establishment. When they walk outside of that establishment, then that belongs to the city as long as it is under our leadership at that particular point. And so my question is to ask the administration, where were the trailer cams that we had designated for downtown? Where are they located? And also to, where is the team? And if the team is not there, are we looking for implementation for that particular team that consisted of sheriff, city marshal, and SPD? And they should get back with you and us.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul Pratt.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Paul Pratt, 935 East 70th Street, Shreveport, Louisiana. I rise today to come before you to seek questions about Paint Your Heart Out. Doc Voorhees and I have been chairpersons for nearly 12 years, and we've seen this program grow. But we're hearing rumors that the program is on the chopping blocks. And so, in fact, I just got an email from KSLA or KTBS about it. But it's such an important program to our city, not only supporting our seniors, but beautifying our city at the same time. So we're here in full support of Paint Your Heart Out and making sure that it stays around for another 33 years. It's a great program, and we've worked very hard with the team that you guys have on staff to, it's turnkey for us because Doc and I get a chance to go and take pictures after it's all done, but it's a very important program, and we look forward to its longevity. So,
Madam Chair.
Councilman Green.
Mr. Mayor, is Paint Your Heart Out on the chopping block, as far as you know?
We're considering what we might do, either to keep it or not to keep it.
So yes, it's on the chopping block, and can we understand why it is?
Madam Chair, it's a very expensive program for what we get for it, and we're looking to see if there are more effective and efficient ways to spend that money.
How much is it?
I'd have to get Ms. Howard up.
Madam Chair, wow.
Yes.
Wow, Ms. Howard, come, Paul? So you just gonna come down and not say hello?
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Pratt.
I am, I'm here to talk specifically about Paint Your Heart Out. It has been budgeted, historically budgeted for $350,000. And that money primarily comes from community development block grants. Last year's Paint Your Heart Out, we are at $497,000. And the expense of the program, we have to prep every single house before they're ever painted. So before anybody ever puts one stroke of paint, community development has already spent well over $100,000. Then we pay for the paint. And then what I get, the first thing that I got on my first day at work, April 16th, was a resident who asked me to come because her house was so poorly painted. There was paint on her windows, Her door was painted shut, and this homeowner is crying because these are volunteers and they have really, really good intentions. But we are spending over $150,000 to repaint what volunteers have done. There's paint over the concrete, there's paint on the grass, there's paint on because these are volunteer groups. And so again, we feel like there are such great intentions, but we can do so much better for our elderly. And if y'all saw some of the houses that I've seen, some of the work that I've seen, if it were your grandmother and you saw the work, you would be appalled. And people paint and they have a great time and they walk away from it. And then community development has to invest more money to fix it. And so when I look at $500,000, if I take that and I add just a little bit more to it, then I can build better housing for elderly people. Or if we want to help elderly people, I'm working with the water department right now to help them, instead of just paying their water bill, to fix leaking bathtubs and things of that nature. So we have smaller dollars to work with because cuts are coming from the federal government. And so we're trying to take what we have and really serve our elderly community in a more effective way. I'm not sure where KSLA or anyone's getting information because no one's called us to ask. But I think what's happened, we have, in addition to the cost of Paint Your Heart Out, we have to store the ladders and all of those things that we use. So we pay on average $3,500 a month just to store old paint and old cloths, and then we rebuy it. Every single year we have Paint Your Heart Out. And so in order for us to even share 100+ ladders with Job Corps, we have to come back before council because we've used HUD funding for that. So while I love this project, I love this project, people don't talk to those elderly people when their houses are messed up, and we have to go back out and pay to fix it. Use a professional painter to go out and fix it. So the media hasn't asked me about the project. I just know I've just spent a week with my counterparts from across the country talking about ways to bring more housing for elderly people. How can we do that in an effective way? And Paint Your Heart Out has just been, this is not the first year that it's been almost $500,000. It's not the first year that it's been over budget. It's been over budgeted every single year, and it's a lot of money. So,
Councilman Green.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I hear what you're saying. You say you want to build more houses for the elderly. What if there are some elderly people that's not asking for a handout, they just need a hand up. They just need their house painted. So just like we figured out a way to give Providence House this big grant for the homeless, then I think instead of throwing the baby out with the baby water, then why not get with whoever and let's figure out a better way to do this, more than just say, hey, it ain't working, it ain't enough money. But just like we sit down at the table and brainstorm about other programs, I think because there are some elderly people, they don't need a new house. They just in a position now that they just need theirs painted. So why not get with some professional people, partner with whoever we need to partner with, put them over here to say, okay, maybe this is how we've been doing it, but this time we're going to do it right. So therefore, instead of saying, well, last year we lost this and this year we don't have to lose it. Let's just do it right. It's just like I said, we're building houses over at the Providence House. We're doing it right for the homeless. So why not just take this Paint Your Heart Out and let's just do it right? If we need to get some more money to do it right, then let's just get the money to do it right. If you say, well, we're going to take $500,000 or $600,000 to build build the elderly some houses. How many houses you talking about? 3. I mean, you can't build a whole neighborhood with $500,000. But if you put it in the right hands with the right people, with the right supervision, I think that it could be accomplished the right way. So that's basically what I see. I don't
Yes, sir.
think that we ought to say to the elderly, with the way the country is today, and with people right now at crossroads in their lives, they're wondering right now if they're even going to have any food.
Yes, sir.
They're
Yes, sir.
wondering if they're going to even get their check next week.
Yes, sir.
So I don't think that there ought to be another burden on the elderly to say, well, we're not going to paint your house. Let's just do it right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir. And Councilman Green, just in response to that, that is exactly what we are proposing for 2026. We have a list of homes. And so instead of just going to paint the house, we set up provision whereby we will meet with that homeowner. And let's just say it's a grandmother who needs her house painted, her roof done, as well as a ramp. So instead of just going out and doing one contract and painting her house, and then going out with another contractor to do her roof, and then another contractor, we're sitting with that homeowner to prioritize what they need. And so sometimes it is, let's do a roof first, let's do their roof and paint. But we need to have professionals to do it, because the issue is not the program. Paint Your Heart Out is a wonderful experience. The problem is you have volunteers who are not experienced painters who are doing it, and that's where the additional expenses are coming in.
Well, what happens is there are some church programs that different churches, there's this group that go all over the country. They come in, and on a weekend, they build a whole church with volunteers. So volunteers are not bad. It's just having someone qualified with the volunteers to know what they're doing. So
Yes,
being a volunteer is not bad. I could be a volunteer and still be a professional. But I just think that before we put it on the chopping block and chop it off, I just think that we ought to rethink possibility.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
all things are possible if you believe. Because at some point in time, everybody in this room, if we live, we're going to get old. So therefore, yeah, it's not me today, but one day I will need some help. I will need a hand up. So how do we handle that? So, it's kind of like you got poison water, but you put roses around it. Water's still poison. So therefore, I just think that we need to take these programs and not move so fast to say we need to get rid of this and get rid of that, and we're just going to build some houses. We don't have the money. The federal government is shut down, and people are taking the federal money. How much are they taking? I mean, how much is enough? A little bit more. So if we're talking about getting federal dollars, we can't say we're going to get federal dollars because that's being shut down. So how do we do it? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Jackson.
So I know exactly where you're coming from. I participated in Paint Your Heart Out for the last 3 years, and I'm not a master painter. It's not easy work. I can see how the homes cannot be done as perfect. But in my experience, we had builders working with our team. So there were an expert on the ground with experienced people such as myself there to make sure that the house was done well. I don't think we're at the point where we need to scrap the program. I think we need to look at it differently. Maybe we can scale back. Maybe we don't have to do as many homes this year to make sure that we do a better job. I think that the volunteers should have some type of tutorial before they even start painting. But also, I feel like anybody that accepts our help should sign some type of disclosure. Letting them know, look, we're not perfect. These are not professionals, and the result you get is the result you're going to get. But at the same time, when you come back out and take pictures, does the home look worse now painted than it did before? Is the question. If it does, then yes, I don't feel comfortable leaving it in that condition.
Right. Yes, sir.
But I do want that. But there should be some type of accountability. What team painted that house? And maybe that team and volunteers should not come back the following year without some type of coaching. Was it just inexperience, of what they just didn't care? I think those are things that we need to start looking at, not to scrap the program, but how can we build a better program within budget?
Councilman Butcher?
I want to thank you. This is kind of what we need from time to time as a reset and to look at programs. I am not for getting rid of Paint Your Heart Out at all. I think that it's a good program, but I do think you looking at it, it's good. Every time we need to check our programs and make sure we're getting our dollars worth on what we're doing. I would like to see maybe some type of collaboration between what we're doing now and maybe a grant process for people. If it's minor jobs, if it's something that barely needs to be done, then maybe volunteers could handle it. But if it's something that has, holes in the wall and you're going to have to do all this work to get it up, I mean, I just think I'm kind of with Councilman Green on this. We need to just revisit it and see what we can do, because I hate for it to go away. And I think you said it when you started that you love Paint Your Heart Out.
I do.
So let's look at it before we just cut it completely out and see if there's maybe something that we can do together to make sure that these people are getting, that the neediest of our community gets something. Because, I mean, I had a mother that went through cancer and she needed a lot of stuff done to her house. And Paint Your Heart Out would have been perfect. And that's time and time again. And with the federal government issues and the government shutdown and all this other stuff going on, I think there's going to be more people in need. And, you would say, well, it doesn't really impact your district. Well, I've got a lady in a gated subdivision that has a hole in her roof that can't afford to fix, her husband died, the house was left to her, but she can't maintain it. Right. So, I think that looking at these dollars that we're spending, yes, and I don't understand why we're paying somebody $3,000 to store ladders and paints, because we got more real estate than God does in the city of Shreveport.
Exactly.
And those are the things, Councilman Butcher, those are the things that I have to, when I walked into this role, that I look at every single day, because as I know that HUD funding is being cut.
Right.
I know how that will impact, our community. And so I want to make sure that we are doing every single thing that we can to help those who are most vulnerable. And again, while I love Paint Your Heart Out and I love the community effort around it, at the end of the day, the needs of our elderly community are growing. They're growing substantially. And I just want to make sure that when we're using those dollars, we can provide what the elderly need to the best of our ability at the highest quality that we can.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you going through it and looking at it. There's a new set of eyes in community development, and you need to run it the way that we approved you for this position. So,
absolutely.
But I do have a little bit of a problem, honestly, that I had heard some rumblings about it, and then I get asked questions, and I don't know necessarily what to say. I guess that I just kind of feel a little blindsided by it a little bit, because it has always been such a good program, and I don't know how to answer the questions if I didn't even know it was happening.
Sure, and with all due, and I hear Doc behind me, with all due respect, we have not publicly made an announcement that Paint Your Heart Out, that we were even considering, and no one has even given us an opportunity to share what the options could be, what we could do better. And so when I hear the rumblings, I'm just as concerned. I don't like surprises either. It's never my intention as a leader to blindside the council or the mayor or the citizens, because we haven't made a final decision about what it could be. And so I wasn't given the opportunity to speak to it, because I've been at a conference all week and this is the first time I've heard of it. So just please know it wasn't my intention. nor did we create this thing that's happened where there's a conversation, because not one media outlet has called me. So this is my first time hearing about it as well.
I appreciate that explanation.
Absolutely.
It's just, and we all sit up here, and there are times that the public knows about stuff before we do, and then we're kind of blindsided because we don't know what to say.
Right.
And then they blame us for it once it's done. So I appreciate the explanation. But I'll tell you right now, if we're spending $3,000 to store ladders, we need to, I'm sure there's some place we can put them. Yeah, exactly.
Green.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We have enough room out on, we have enough buildings on Monkhouse at the foremost there. We got plenty. If we need, I'm sure Mr. Dart can work something out. We can store whatever out there. We got enough buildings for everything that we need out there, so we don't have to spend
Could
that
we
kind of.
could we maybe storm in some of those old Western Global airplanes out there, Mr. Black? I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Anywhere in District, we got enough room in District F to store anything that you need. You don't have to pay $3,000. That could go into helping the seniors with their
My
housing.
sentiments exactly.
So
My sentiments
that-
exactly.
And of course, you were saying about, you didn't know about the program or whatever the media is talking about. It's kind of like one would say, if a tree falls and nobody's there, is there noise? It come from somewhere. It didn't just fall out of the sky. Somebody said something about, I don't think we want this no more, because, I mean, I didn't just hear it. It was brought to me, so I don't know why you don't know about it.
Sure. And again, with all due respect, I make no apologies about my position in terms of how we have over budgeted and spent for Paint Your Heart Out. So I'm not denying that, and nor am I denying that there is a better way for us to serve our elderly. There's no denial of that. However, we have not made a final decision about what Paint Your Heart Out could be, how we could reformulate it to help our elderly people. I've had no conversation. We're looking at budget, all of those things, because as you said, you approved. And so I certainly wouldn't make a decision without bringing it to the mayor, without bringing it to the council. Our team hasn't even made a final options in terms of what we could do. So I make no bones about the fact that I think it's a very expensive program where we've overspent our budget year after year with very poor results from elderly people who've called and complained. So I want to be
I'm
very
just
clear.
glad that we heard about it before the final decision.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Madam
you're
Chair.
welcome.
Councilwoman Bowman.
Very welcome.
Respectfully, Ms. Howard, I understand that you want to go over the budget and do things in a different way, but some communication is not hitting the right way, because I have elderly people calling me in Queensboro that are used to getting their homes painted. So some kind of way is out there. And I would like for us to sit down and discuss it, because the council get these calls, and make sure we're doing the right thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't vote to get rid of the Paint Your Heart program. I have too many people that say good things opposed to maybe the one or two homes that maybe are not painted properly. I get too many good reviews on Paint Your Heart Out. A lot of my citizens in Queensboro area love it. I got some people right now on a waiting list. We do it every 2 years, wish we would do it every year. So I know the budget is a concern, but I think that as a council, we would like to sit down and discuss it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure, you're welcome.
Ms. Howard, the purpose of the 2-year plan, as I understand it, being on the council, was to give the Paint Your Heart Out committee, as well as workforce development, the opportunity to go and plan property, because every time that you have a program, there are hiccups along the way. So I have these questions. The question is, typically what they would do is a wrap-up after the program, if the council didn't know that. And so did you all have a wrap-up?
We have not, no ma'am, we have not
Okay.
had a wrap-up
So
with the volunteers. We have with the staff, but not the volunteers.
So
Yes,
that
ma'am.
particularly for me is an issue at that point, because I haven't had any phone calls relative to the fact of they didn't like their house, because typically we would address that. And so having that particular wrap-up with the volunteers would provide the opportunity to make any corrections, and I don't believe it was at any cost, but they could correct me on that if I'm wrong. The second thing that I'm looking at was what was the cost, the documented cost annually prior to COVID and up to this point? Because typically what I understood, it was around $300 and some odd thousand of what Paint Your Heart Out cost. The third thing that I'm going to say about this, that most of the recipients of Paint Your Heart Out live in our districts. So when those particular individuals don't have those services, given the fact that 52% of our citizens live below the poverty level, is a real problem. And so we're not going to take the time out, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Howard, to go up and strap programs that are beneficial to our districts. The other thing that I look at, and when you talk about volunteers, there are over 1,000 volunteers for Paint Your Heart Out, is what we're looking at. You only had 330 for Block by Block. If they don't pick up the trash right, if y'all gonna get rid of them? No, we take the time to see how we go and revamp. So that is a serious issue for us because we are representing the working poor. And so the services that we have, and when citizens are waiting on those services, that is critical. It's critical to the infrastructure that we have. So we looked at Paint Your Heart Out, as well as rehabilitation services for the homes, as well as building new homes. So $500,000 is not gonna go over here and replace the home of an individual that just needed painted. And again, what we can do that is critical, as Councilman Jackson said, is go back and look at the volunteers who did that. I think that's all the way. But also, too, at the point, you all have a steering committee. You could talk to that steering committee to see what is needed in that particular point. I have worked behind the scenes when it comes to Paint Your Heart Out. So it's very personal for me because I understand those individuals that just need a hand up. They're not relying on for you for day-to-day living, but you can understand, regardless if it's rumored or not, because we asked you this before you took this position about Paint Your Heart Out, for sure. We wanted to know, was this continuing? Were there any other situations with it? Because it was critical to us. So I'm saying that for the record, but I do know that further conversation is going to be needed on this particular program. So I want to call up the next person for their comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Mr. Doc Voorhees.
I'm Doc Voorhees, 10014 Brittany Drive. And I'm just at a loss for what I'm hearing here for the first time. And I've been chairperson or co-chairperson with Paul for the last 10 years. 12 years. This is stuff I'm hearing for the first time. We asked for a debriefing meeting in June, and it was denied. It was denied. They said, oh, we're not ready. But it's kind of like, how do we know what we've done good, what we've done bad, if we can't have a debriefing meeting? But it was not approved. We haven't been given that opportunity. We've asked. Over the years, we've raised as much as $50,000 in 1 year because certain things can't be paid with federal money. Why am I hearing for the first time that people's houses aren't painted? Why is as chairperson and co-chairperson for the city, why haven't I been told?
Mr. Voorhees, direct your comments here to the council.
I mean, and I feel like Bonnie has been publicly discredited at this meeting, and I'm insulted by it. I came here in 1995, and Bonnie and I and one other person, we created a lot of the homeless structure programs. We did the information management system that to this day is being used nationally by HUD. It was created here in Shreveport. We've done other things. Shreveport gets more HUD money annually than Baton Rouge. We're only second to New Orleans because we've developed a structure and a program that responds favorably to what HUD requirements are. New Orleans gets more money than us, but ask Baton Rouge. We get more than them, and we have for like the last 10 years. HUD uses us as an expert on many things. The information management system that we developed is being used nationally. But HUD can't endorse it because they're not allowed. They have the best 5. So we've always been one of the best 5 practices. But when they get ready to do a conference with someone in the field, who do they call? Bonnie Moore. Bonnie Moore has done so much for this program, and to have her discredited this way about she don't get feedback and she
Mr.
won't
Dopp.
care about the homeless.
Mr. Dopp, your time has expired.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
I'll see if
sorry.
any council members
I'm
have any
sorry.
questions for you, okay?
Councilman Green.
Thank you for coming, and I also would like to say that, would you like to preach for me on Sunday? Because
Look, let me tell you a little bit about my background.
Tell me.
I was born on the plantation in Shirley, right outside of Bunkie.
Yes, sir.
Parents couldn't read or write. We had no indoor facilities, but God.
Yes,
I've been able to get an education, but my other brothers and sisters didn't. So you call that a success? But all I can say is God has protected me and prepared me, and I want to do good to others. And, Lorraine Hansberry said, I care. Yes, I care because it costs too much not to care. Too much in broken dreams, lost lives. And so that's why I care. And that's why I spent 33 years at the VA as a chief of social work service and chaplain service, 20 years. And my goal was to break down the wall around the VA because we needed to collaborate with the community. And that's why Bonnie and I developed so many of these homeless protocols. We developed Hope for the Homeless.
Yes.
We did a citywide campaign to come up with a name. Lafayette suggested the name, Hope for the Homeless. They did the logo. Lafayette did that. We've been a leader in so many ways, and now to hear today for the first time that the program isn't working, and we've got all these problems, and we meet every year after the event. We asked this year to have a debriefing, and it was denied. So I hear rumors, and I try not to substantiate rumors and to respond to rumors, but I've heard some stuff that is just sickening. It's beyond unethical. It's beyond low life. And I will not stand here and let Bonnie, who has done so much for this community, be discredited. And she's worked under 5 administrations. And she is a jewel, formerly homeless. And she's done hey, was it perfect? No. Could we have done better? Yes. But we had COVID, they had the move, they had, all kinds of things that just happened. So why are we going to make a decision based on this year, what somebody that just came in, and evidently the deep dive didn't include Paul and I, which has been leading the parade for at least 12 years. Why weren't we at least told that there were some concerns? I found out this morning. That's when I started sending out emails to people to say, what's going on? I don't know any facts.
Yes, sir.
But, I'm
Doc,
sorry.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank you and Paul for the passion that you all have for the program, and you all have done a great job. And I just wanted to commend you all for doing a great job.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Councilman Butcher.
Look, I see the passion, and I don't want to see the program go away.
Correct.
And I'll do anything I can to help you too. I think both of y'all actually live in my district, do you not?
Yes.
So I'll do anything I can, and I appreciate your passion.
But how am I hearing about this for the first time here this meeting?
Why am I just hearing about it too?
Mr.
I can't answer that
Mr.
question.
Voorhees, okay, we need to keep that podium.
Pardon
We
me?
need to keep that podium. Yeah.
I'm
We're gonna get the
I'm sorry,
questions
I
that
just
you're
can't
asking.
think. In the 20-some years, almost 30 years that I've been
I
here,
understand.
I have been before this city council probably 10 times.
I understand.
And every time I have come, it's been to thank you Thank you for some service that you provided. Thank you for the opportunity that you've given other people. This is the first time in 30 years that I have to come with a heavy heart for something that makes no sense and has no logical explanation. And what I've heard today here is totally disingenuous. And I think it's disrespectful for Bonnie Moore and all she has done for this community, for this to be said.
Yeah, Mr. Doc, thank you.
Doc, our service started at 9 o'clock.
Mr. Bradford? Mr. Willie Bradford?
Let me say this before you speak, Willie Bradford. Mr. Voorhees, no one is going to disrespect Bonnie Moore.
It's already happened.
No. Just listen to this. No one is going to disrespect what this lady has contributed to the city of Shreveport, okay? We're talking about more than $24 million of grant money that other cities could not get that she competed against. We're talking about all of the dollars that have matriculated into this community. So I'm not going to take what one person says to go and discredit Ms. Moore under any circumstances. And I think all of my council members will agree with me on that. The federal government will call on Ms. Moore when they needed help across the United States. So at this point, give us an opportunity, as we're learning about this, to work through these things and to work with you all. But do understand, and I agree, I'm telling you, I don't think any other council member would disagree with me. Bonnie Moore is an icon and a legacy builder, and you can look at it around the city. Mr. Bradford.
To our chair lady, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the council staff that I admire. Madam Chair, before I give my remarks, let me acknowledge
I need
Councilman
your address, Mr.
Willie
Bradford.
Bradford, and I'm familiar with this procedure. Willie Bradford, 3026 Independence Avenue, Shreveport, 71109.
Now your time begins.
Thank you.
And that's in District A, correct?
That's in District A.
Gotcha.
But let me just acknowledge Councilman Green and Councilman Butcher, those gentlemen I had the privilege of serving with on the council, and we had great rapport. And after being here for an hour, I don't think I miss it at all. But anyway,
Thank you for the French fries you used to bring me, Willie.
I'm here because I got an email. Someone had a concern about the Paint Your Heart Out program. And it suggested to me, the reason I came, because if you are not familiar with the Paint Your Heart Out program and you have concerns with it, and I don't know where those concerns came from, it suggested to me that either you was unaware of the program, or you never participated in the program, or you never had anybody within your relationship, family or otherwise, who had been serviced by this program. I've been participating with the program for over 30 years. It started when I was the president of the Queensboro Neighborhood Association, where we had the opportunity to revitalize many, many houses in that program back in the 1990s and forward. And what was impressive about the program is not only that the pride and the joy that those residents felt from participating, from having their houses painted and revitalized, it also afforded the volunteers, people who cared about this city and who cared about those that was less fortunate, an opportunity to come forward and volunteer their time and energy to give back to this community in the way of volunteering to help paint somebody's house. I've heard solutions. I did not know, again, some of the issues that was facing this issue, but I've heard solutions that we can look at today. Now, I saw firsthand, Mayor, the results of the Block by Block initiative, which was a great initiative. I see the Paint Your Heart Out
as a compliment to block, block, block. Or I see the block, block, block as a compliment because we can clean up a neighborhood and we have dilapidated and inappropriate houses.
Right.
Or we can have inappropriate houses in a nasty neighborhood. So we can work that out. But I want to appeal to you today that, let me say this before I say that. If there's I can't remember, but those are inspectors that go out to monitor the progress of the paint, the house, while the paint is going on. So if they are and they are doing some inappropriate painting, it appears that could be corrected there.
Mr. Bradford.
Or if there's opportunities where they designate certain areas that they can work on.
Your time has expired, Mr. Bradford.
Can I get one more second?
Yes, sir.
One more second. And my second is going to be that we can designate different areas in which people
Councilman,
paint.
tell us what you think you would do to solve the problem.
No, the problem is, Councilman, and I'm going to reference
I'm
Councilman.
doing that to give you more time, so go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you. But let me just say this. I got the sentiment of the council. You support the program. There are areas that could be improved.
Right.
But I do think, like Councilman Green said, let's improve the program. Let's look at what's not working, and let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
The baby out with the baby.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. B.
Carol Smith.
My name is Carol Smith. My address is 2630 Kent Lane, Shreveport, Louisiana. I am in full agreement to keeping the program. It has been a lot of good information been said here. I want to say thank you to the city for some of the things that you have done in my neighborhood. I bow down to you because that meant a lot. I've been over there for 53 years, and they just started doing things over there. So I looked around my neighborhood, and I began to take pride in my neighborhood. So why would you take away, paint your heart out, when we on a good road to making things better? I feel good driving into my neighborhood. And they painted the houses going down Martin Luther King. Oh, Lord, I feel so great when I see those houses. I say, ooh, look at that. Because it means a lot. So before you cut a program, as everyone has spoken very well about, let's re-examine what's going on. And if you put someone there, you said, I heard her say that the people was complaining because of the way they painted it. Well, my brother, I'm not a painter, but he put me to paint and nailed it and everything else. But anyway, he would stand over me and tell me that ain't right. And I learned how to do it. Now, I can do it, and I feel good about it. What I'm saying, let's step back, look at what's going on. And as I said, once again, it's a lots of good information been going out. Before we get to cutting something, especially for the people that are low income, and you know we getting hit from left, right, bottom, flipped over, and whatever else. Let's don't start at my door. Let's just step back and bring a way to bring it together. That's what I would like to say. I am full support of keeping the program.
Councilman Green.
Before you sit down, it's a pleasure to drive through your district now and not have to tear up my car. Smooth sailing.
Especially Archer Lane. I used to go down Archer Lane like this.
You sure, right?
We did. But we did.
You tore up a good wagon on Archer Lane.
But
Thank
you
you
all
so
have really done many good things in that area, and I see where you've been picking up trash. I even picked up trash too out there. And I just want to say that we're working together as a team. Let's don't just throw us to the side because you see something else you want to do.
Right.
Help us keep going forward. That's what we got to do. And that's what we need to do. And you're looking at dollars and cents. And I like what you said about you could only do 3 houses. But where you can take that same money and do a multitude. He pulled fish out of fish, bread out of bread. That's
Amen.
all I got to say.
Thank you, Ms.
He
Smith.
said it.
Annie Ely.
Amen.
Hey, Miss Ely.
90 years plus.
Yes.
Amen.
My name is Annie Ely.
Pull the mic
Hey,
down
Miss
for
Ely.
me.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to hold it for.
Okay, my name is Annie Ely. I've been to the city council many, many times. I live at 1712 Bonnie Street. Shreveport, Louisiana is the address, and 71107. I came down today because Irma Rogers called me last night, I think about 10:30, because she had something very important she had to attend to. And she asked me would I come. I said, you know, I'll come if somebody bring me. And so I'm just happy to be here. I'm a recipient of Paint Your Heart Out. They took my resume, and when they got to my house, I think it was about three years ago. My house is 56 years old. My husband and I bought the house in 1969 in July. He passed away in 1995, and I am a widow. I live on the Cooper Road. I still call it Cooper Road, USA. And I live up there because I choose to live up there. My son wanted to ask me, did I want to move over in the Lakeside Acres? I told him no. I like living at 1712 Bonnie Street. They did my house. The house is a brick house, but then it has wood. And they did the painting. And if anybody want to come take a picture of my house, they can come do it. I enjoyed the work that they did. The contractor, he talked to me, and he told me, he said, I want your house to look like I would like my mother's house to look, or my grandmother. And I'm a very active person in the community. Thank God that I'm able to still be there. My council person is just the most hard-working person. I don't know about what the rest of y'all doing, but she's the hard-working person on the council. She's the hardest-working council person that I know of.
That's right.
No, nothing taken away from none of the rest of you. But, you know, when we have a program that's working, it's always a better way you might can think of. But this young lady that just retired, I think she's retired now, Miss Bonnie Moore, down through the years, she's done a great job. So my thing is, I'm here today just to say, don't let it die. Just if you find a better way to help do it, do that. And I'm pretty sure some of the other senior citizens would appreciate it. I've never begged for anything, and my husband has been gone 30 years now, and I've never had to ask nobody for food or none of that. And that's a blessing.
Amen.
I have 6 of the nicest young children that you would want to see, grandchildren also. But I love Shreveport. I was born and raised, not in the city all the time. I lived on the farm. And so we've always been hard workers. And we want to see our areas that need help, you know, help them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Annie.
Thank you.
That's my
Yes,
superstar.
ma'am.
Yeah.
That's my superstar.
Madam Chair, this is all about public comments today.
Okay. We have no executive appointments to consider tomorrow. There are no items under consent agenda for introduction or to be adopted. Mr. Dark, please proceed with regular agenda legislation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 121 is a CEA with the state for $4,925,000 for airport improvements. This is site work, I believe, for expansion of future industrial things. 122 is a CEA between the city and the Housing Authority. This is where we are committing $412,000 for street improvements on Christian and Shumpert Streets that will complement some work that the Housing Authority is doing to expand the Bayou Grand project. 123 and 124 are CEAs with the state for funding we've received in the last year through the capital outlay and budget process. 123 is for $600,000 to replace the carbon feed equipment at Amos, and $100,000 is for projects in the MLK and West Shreveport areas. 125, I got a note from Attorney Edwards that Hunt Telecommunications would like to postpone this one tomorrow so that they can come, and apparently some of y'all had some questions last time, so we're going to try to get them to come here and meet with you, speak with you before we actually ask you to vote on that one. 126 is a franchise agreement with Delta North Louisiana Gas Company. This one replaces the one that CenterPoint had, and it would be, I believe, for 20 years, but it could be extended for as long as 60 years in 5-year increments. 127 is the $400,000 grant with Bloomberg for housing. It's a 2-year grant for construction of modular housing that is going through the Providence House, but which requires a great deal of additional funding. I think there was some discussion about that last time. 128 is a right-of-way servitude agreement with Red River Express on city property at the intersection of Interloop and Florno Lucas. This provides a way for them to access our property to do survey work for the road that's being planned there, and has a provision in it for if they ever decide to build the road at whatever time that is, that they would acquire that property at appraised value. 129, the only new resolution in this one, celebrates the life of Joyce Taylor Dixon because her 100th birthday is next month.
So, do any council members have any questions for Delta North Louisiana Gas Company because representatives are here? Okay, don't y'all ask no questions tomorrow? Okay. So tomorrow we'll be
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
On 128, I see that we have the representatives here for the Red River Expressway. If anybody has any questions about that. Honestly, I think that they did a very good job communicating what they're going to do, and I think that there were several concessions that were made for the community. I'm pleased with those. 35 mile an hour, the no Jake break, some other concessions that were made. It'll be a 2-lane road. We're way out from this project being complete, but this is the first step. And as long as they're willing to pay the appraised value, I think that this just basically gets the whole thing started. Is that correct? So if anybody has any questions, but I really, I think that all the questions from my constituents in the area have been answered, and I've received very little feedback over the last week or 2 weeks from people. I got an email just a second ago and had a chance to read it, but it was somewhat positive about some of the concessions that you're willing to do. So I'm going to support it, and I ask for y'all to support it as well. Mr. Mayor, do y'all have anything to add? The administration have to add on that?
I believe this is a good project, and we ought to move forward with it.
Thank you.
Mr. Dark, would you proceed with the introduction of resolutions not to be adopted prior to November 21st?
Well, I think that's the point I want to make first of all, because of the calendars going on this time of year with council meetings at different times. This one, anything that's introduced today, whether it be resolutions or ordinances that require 2 readings, cannot be passed until the 21st. 130 is the resolution approving the DDA program of work. Janie Landry is here from DDA. This is something that you're required by law to vote on every year. It appears to be a budget that's pretty much standstill from what they have, a little over $2 million, and a program that's consistent with what they've been doing. 131 is an entity-state agreement between DOTD and the city. This is for some lighting work they're going to do at the Monkhouse interchange. They have a project to do some interchange lighting throughout the city that hopefully we'll be able to complement with some of the work that was in the bond issue. This one doesn't require us to spend any money up front. It just says that once it's put in, we'll maintain it. 132 is one of your requests to do a gas lease. This actually is, I believe, about 37 acres. It's a street right away in Long Lake primarily. So if it were to go at the bid we normally been getting, we're a little over $110,000 for that.
Okay. Mr. Dark, would you proceed with introductions of ordinances not to be adopted prior to November 21st, 2025?
By the way, before I start, I wanted to comment just for a second on the gingerbread house question that you had, Council.
Yes, sir.
We are giving, we have given this year for the first time in a good while, $35,000 from our regular budgeted funds to Gingerbread House. Celebration gets money through Providence House, but I wanted you to know that there was some fund that we started, and we started actually after, they had come up in the discussion when it was time to talk about the Public Safety Fund, and when their appeal was not successful, we tried to find a way to help them because of the concerns that you addressed.
I think we originally were about 15,000, and then we bumped it up a little bit, correct?
We did. It's 35. The CEA for this year is 35.
Good, excellent.
And there's no chance that we would not be proposing that to go up or down in next year's budget.
Okay,
than what
thank
was
you.
turned in. Okay, anyway. 113 and 14 are companions. They relate to raising the contribution back and forth relative to the rate stabilization fund from the $20 million we started the year with to the 25 that this would allow us to do. 115 and 116 are also companions. Sportran, as it seems to do pretty regularly, has come up with some more money, and so we're asking you to fund those. They were actually in the 26 capital budget as new projects, but we're going to go ahead and fund them before the end of the year if you approve this. They total a little over $1.8 million, and the city's match to that is $351,700, and that is what is funded in the in Ordinance 116. The city's match. 115 actually just funds the projects. 117 is another capital budget amendment. It's $300,000 for an airport layout plan that apparently is required before we can get some additional federal funds. This one does not require any city money. I believe it's 95% Fed and 5% state. 118 amends the budget for the Council District F TIF Special Revenue Fund, moves some funds from reserves into contractual services. Councilman Green has some plans he wants us to help facilitate the funding of. 119 amends the chapter 18. Y'all passed an ordinance earlier this year to address how we would deal with abandoned aircraft. The only thing this does is add to that by allowing us to recover any attorney's fees that are incurred in the process of dealing with the abandoned property. 120 amends chapter 38.5 relative to environmental court fines. It provides a way to increase some of the fines, particularly I think on commercial structures, up to $1,000 a day, which is more than they are now. And 122, I want to explain just for a second because this declares certain paint and equipment for community development surplus. This is paint that was once used for Paint Your Heart Out that is now to the point it's too old to use for paint. And they actually have an arrangement where I think they're going to try to donate it to Job Corps so they can use it in some of their training programs. It has nothing to do with the decision one way or the other to do anything with Paint Your Heart Out going forward. And it can't be adopted until December the 9th.
I have a question, though.
Okay.
And I want to take it back to why are we donating them old paint?
You're on.
Madam Chair and Council, we are donating old paint primarily in response to Job Corps. I don't know, we received an email from Job Corps that they have funding to run their programs, but not materials. And so in order for us to even share any old materials like paint or anything that was purchased with HUD funding, we have to have approval from council. So they can use so the Job Corps students can use that old paint to practice and hone in their craft. So instead of us just leaving it in the storage because we can't use it to do any more paint your heart out events, that paint has to be mixed new whenever we paint a new house. So it's just been sitting in the storage unit, and we've just been paying for those storage units. And so it's a way for us to not pay for those storage units anymore, and for those kids to be able to use the paint to hone their craft.
Councilman Talaferro.
Just a quick question that brings
Yes,
up
sir.
it brings up a thought that so the Job Corps uses our paint to help train painters.
Correct. They have in their apprenticeship programs. They have painters, plumbers, electricians. So when we got the email, and it wasn't just community development, a lot of the nonprofits got the email that there were materials that were needed for Job Corps students because, their funding was cut, and then they received funding just to pay their staff, but they didn't have equipment. And this was a win-win for us because we didn't want to continue to pay for storage for paint that we couldn't use. So that was the catalyst behind
And so at the top of my head, if we're using or we're donating paint to Job Corps because they have a training program that trains painters, is there not a way that we could use their skills to help train them and give them real-world experience through letting them participate and paint your heart out?
Oh,
Under
absolutely.
supervision? I mean, is that something we've ever done? I'm not sure because I'm usually out there with a bunch of volunteers myself. So I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. We're donating paint for an apprentice program, basically, to train future painters. And then we have a program that requires future painters with a skill set of painting. It would seem that we may want to kind of collaborate with them to, I'm sure they could use some community service.
Absolutely.
So it's just an idea.
It is a collaborative approach that would be a win-win, absolutely. But to address this the reason we were donating the paint
Certainly.
is certain.
And it is, and one further thing regarding the hazardous material. So the paint that we cannot use, and I'm sure that there's a lot of paint that just hardens up, it's not sealed properly, whatever. I know that Barksdale has a hazardous material disposal unit specifically for that. I don't know if the city does. I don't know if the parish does. I was just concerned about that. So anyway, I think there's a lot of groups out there, career centers and so forth, that could benefit from the paint that we have and the projects that we need them to paint. So it's just an idea to kind of collaborate with those who were
We
up and
also
coming.
made an offer to Fuller Center for Housing because they're also doing training. To Bossier Parish Community College, they're doing training.
Certainly.
It was BIPSI, Fuller Center, Job Corps, and I can't remember the
What
last
about the Career
one.
Center? Do they do that?
I'm not sure if the
Caddo
Career
Parish
Center
Career
does.
Center, that might be a good place to look at too.
Well,
But what we didn't want to do was lose the lose the material when somebody could use
I agree.
it. So
Yeah, I mean, paint is expensive regardless of where you get
it is.
So thank you very much, Madam
You're
Chair.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Dark, please proceed with ordinances on second reading and final passage.
Okay. 97A is the reprise of the Film and Entertainment Gateway Economic Development District that you've adopted once, and we had to bring it back to you because of an advertising problem. There's a public hearing on that at the meeting tomorrow, and once that public hearing is done, you can actually adopt this again. 104 amends the capital budget. We've gotten just a little under $160,000 from the state to work out there, and this accepts that into the budget. 105 amends capital budget because we've gotten $125,000 through Senator Presley for some work in the general area of Bayou Pier for recreation and if necessary, drainage. 106 amends the capital budget. We're asking you to move $2,820,000 in interest on the 2021 bonds to allow us to move forward with the bids on the headquarters project. Bless you. We're right now expecting to have those bids open before the end of the year, and this will help us be able to do that and have a little contingency for what might come after they actually open the bids. 107 amends the MPC budget. They want to move $15,000 from salaries to contract services so they can hire a temp in place of a position that's currently vacant. 108 is a land swap deal out in West Shreveport where citizens who own a piece of property are asking us to trade them a piece of property. Their piece of property is bigger than ours, but it helps them square up their property, and it helps us get access to some property water and sewer uses for sewer purposes. 109 amends the chapter of the code relative to community development to establish its current operating structure where it would be divisions instead of bureaus. That's really pretty much all it does. 110 amends the UDC relative to basically removing almost all off-street vehicular parking requirements, and I think that's been discussed a couple of times here. 111 amends the UDC map, piece of land on Kingston Road just south of Francis, where an existing building or existing business wants to put a storage building on his site, and MPC approved that unanimously, and there was no neighborhood opposition. 112 clearly is exactly the opposite case. This one affirms the denial of the request for a gas station at Kings Highway and Barrett. And so if you want to approve what MPC did and continue the denial, you would vote yes on this resolution tomorrow.
Mr. Clark, you'll have the opportunity for your individuals that, what is the proper title?
Planners.
Planners. For the planners to be able to come up and explain after the mayor's communications on tomorrow. Does that work? Okay. Madam Clerk, is there any other table legislation to be removed from the table?
No, ma'am.
We have no property standards or ABO appeals to consider today. We have no MPC or ZBA appeals to consider tomorrow. Are there any other appeals, Madam Clerk?
No, ma'am.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, and committee? I will say tomorrow in the chamber, I respectfully ask for a moment of silence for Mr. Robert Johnson, who was the individual that unfortunately passed away from the drowning in the Red River, and he worked in the water and sewage department. So we need to take a moment of silence to honor his 20 years with the city of Shreveport. Okay. Madam Clerk, is there a clerk's report?
No, ma'am.
Executive session, there is none. If there is nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.